Welcome everyone, this is Coaching in Session and my name is Michael Rearden and I'll be your host today. And today we're going to be talking about woke culture. And it was a topic that I didn't want to talk about. This was a topic I wanted to stay away from, maybe at least until Mindset OD came out. But I mean, boy, it's like as much as I want to not talk about this, I have to talk about this because coaching is about talking about the hard truths. If you're not showing up in your life, I need to tell you that, hey, this area is not helping you. I'm not going to just say, well, I'm just going to sit here and allow you to burn the house down if I see you playing with matches and you have some gasoline spill on the floor. Why would I do that? So I'm going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about some of the recent news that came out, and we're just going to start to break that down because we can look at where we're going as a culture and a society and as a global population. The end result is not going to be beneficial for the majority of people. Most people are in the wrong mindset right now, and it is because of the influence of what's happening in the world. There's a lot of mental disorder happening, and we need to start to understand that and then figure out, well, what do I do about it? This is going to be an episode that's going to be an awakening for many people because they're going to see, oh, wow, this makes sense. And I remember when I was on the InfoWars show with Alex Jones last year, it was last year, I believe, or the year before, I was talking about how schools were almost brainwashing your child. And it's not so much that they're brainwashing them for the wrong reason. It just happens naturally. So the natural cause of what's happening is just a brainwash. For example, have you heard about, violence, video games can make someone become violent. Violent cartoons can make someone become violent. My parents heard that growing up. So they were like, well, you can't watch Ren and Stimpy, right? That was the thing that my mom said we couldn't watch because it was just too vulgar and she didn't want that. And I mean, luckily, I have a parent who cares about me and cares about what I watch and what I'm putting into my brain. But a lot of the parents today, they're very busy. They're trying to make ends meet, work 2 jobs, 3 jobs maybe, do whatever they have to do to put food on the table, keep a roof over the head. So we rely on teachers to do their job. But what's happening in the world right now is that teachers are allowing their opinions to go into the classroom. So I'm not saying that if you're a certain type of teacher and you believe a certain belief, that you can't express that. I'm not saying that. But you just can't give the students in your classroom a single path. Even with my coaching, I don't say, well, this is the only path you can go on. That is crazy. I say you can go this path, this path, this path, this path. There's all these paths, right? In life, there's just not one road. However, in woke culture, there is only one road, the road to destruction. So let's get into some of the news and start to break down some of the different areas of woke culture and then how it's affecting the mindset and how is it going to affect us later on in life. So I just pulled up some recent news or some news from the past, and we are going to just be talking about a little bit of it. The State of the Union just happened a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to talk about this particularly not because of woke culture, but because of culture in general. We are influenced by what we see. We perceive what we perceive, but what we see is what we can either believe or what we can want to change. Now, the reason why I have this up here for Biden, right, is just so much attacks on our president. And it's been happening since, I can't even tell you when the attacks on president, right? Because there's always going to be almost like a 50-50 type of divide, right? So some people are going to vote for Democrats, some people are going to vote for Republican, and then that divide is there, right? So for example, the opposing party, they're going to say, well, I don't like this person because they're a Republican, or I don't like this person because they're a Democrat. Now, regardless of your political party and affiliation, what is that person doing, right? Is that person doing good? Now, there's going to be, again, different parties that focus on different areas. For example, is the Democratic Party really worried about the middle class and the lower class? Or is the Republican Party really worried about the rich and the wealthy? For me, it's going to be what you're, again, growing up with. I grew up poor. We grew up Democratic. So now we are going to be voting for people like Bill Clinton, Obama, Biden, right? Those people we would vote for because the alternative is evil. The alternative is, this person is bad for us, for our money, our culture, etc., etc. and we're giving lies. The rich are getting away by not paying taxes and blah, 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 blah. Well, when I moved away from Connecticut, I took a test. I said, well, what party am I? I said, what political party am I? Because I didn't know. I didn't know if I was Democratic or if I was Republican. So I took a test, and it's like a multiple choice test, and you just have to answer some questions. And the questions led me to right in the middle. I'm right in the middle between Republican and Democrat, literally right in the middle. I think it was like maybe 0.3 of a point over toward the left a little bit, but still in the middle, right? And then I was set back. I was like, no wonder why I don't know which party I am. So I just became independent, because I believe that both parties need to create a balance, right? I talk about yin and yang here in the podcast. I talk about we can make a difference, but then sometimes the difference has to be changed here and there. So what's happening right now is we are showing our youth that we can hate a president, and it's okay, right? We can hate them, and we can attack them, and we can do all of these different things, and it's okay. From Bush to Obama to President Trump to Biden, we attack our president. We attack our leader. What do you think that does to mindset? People are going to say, well, our president doesn't matter, right? Now, our president has a certain amount of power, right? They're the commander in chief, but there are limitations to what that person can do. Regardless of it, the aspect of attacking our leader is kind of like, well, we're just leaderless at this point. Who do we follow? We don't follow a person anymore. We don't follow a nation anymore. We follow a culture, the woke culture, cancellation, right? I'm going to be canceled because I said something, or someone's going to be canceled because they said something that's inappropriate, right? People are going to attack people because they don't like what they said. So we are vilifying our leaders right now. Not saying that they're all great leaders, right? I'm sure there's aspects of leaders that have been and will be not good. But just because they're not good, it doesn't mean we have to attack them and belittle them. We need to get over that. Now let's get into talking about our kids, right? Our students that we're going to be raising, right? The next leaders of our generation, right? That's why I do youth mentoring with my coaching, with mindset coaching. I don't just do it because I'm good at it. I do it because there is a need for it, and there will be a greater need for it in the future. Teachers are underpaid, teachers are overburdened, and teachers have the daunting task to raise children that are not their own. So this child is literally going into the workforce for 35 to 40 hours a week in school, and they have to, of course, show up, right? Now, the issue with the school system is not so much of the curriculum, right? The curriculum is going to be the curriculum. The issue with the school system is not that teachers are the root of all the evil, right? I know people have been vilifying teachers who have a certain belief and they apply opinion into the schools, and then also political aspects, right? They're not the issue either, right? The issue is the environment of the school system. If I'm in the hood and I'm in the ghetto and I'm in the public schools, I'm going to be dealing with a different type of environment. If I'm in a wealthy area, I'm going to be dealing with a different type of environment. That's just the way it works. So I'm seeing different things in different areas wherever I go. If I go to a school that's maybe more entitled, I'm going to see a lot of entitlement. I'm going to see a lot of people exercising their rights to be woke or whatever they want to be. People or children are going to see that. Oh, they're doing that? Okay, cool. Because if we look at the statistics, I believe it was something like 2 in 10 children were gay back when it wasn't like woke and making us so aware. And then now, today, 5 out of 10 children are gay. So we are living in the gayest generation there has ever been. And it's not so much that they have that affiliation to want to swing that way. It's just that they see culture. What they see on TV, what they see around them, what they are led to believe, that is what they're going after, right? Similar to how I said early on in the podcast, violent video games or violent programming from television cartoons. Oh, we can't have that, but we can have woke agenda, right? I was just watching a clip. It was on, I think, Twitter or something, and it was about a Disney Plus show or something, and they were talking about race and all this stuff. And there's some shows with a couple of the same gender, and not that, again, we can't have it, right? We can have that discussion that certain people just like certain things. But I mean, if we're bringing in drag queens and trans into schools and doing drag queen friendly shows, I think there's a problem. Because now we're showing them, oh, you can support this, but you can't support a reading program. You can't support a math program so kids can be better at arithmetic. You can't support an after school program to help people understand about leadership and development and success. You can't support that. But the moment there's a trans friendly kids show, oh yeah, sure, we can add that into the program. That is insane. We have lost it. We have lost it. We cannot allow woke culture to tarnish these young minds. Allow them to choose their own path, right? We guide them. And what's happening is we're giving them one path. This is the path. This is what we do. This is culture. Woke culture. But there's so many options. Parents are doing a good job at mitigating some of it. But again, parents are busy. So we have to make sure that we're not just giving them any old way. To talk about agenda, right? Agenda is one of those things that it seems like people are just hypocrites. They're just hypocritical, right? For example, Democrats are occupying the Oklahoma state capitol. But if Republicans take the state capitol of Washington, it's a terrorist attack. Hypocrites, right? It depends on who does it, huh? So if one side does it and the other side does it, what happens, right? And I'm not against either side. I just want to make this very clear. If you see a side that is able to get away with something, what do you think people are going to do? They're going to join that side. And it's not the winning side either. It's just a side that they can get away with. It's just a side that they can be entitled in. What happened with the George Floyd riots, right? People went out there saying Black Power and they were going around breaking and looting. How is that a peaceful protest? How is destroying businesses in your community that are supposed to be helping you grow and to nurture the development of the children around there a good thing? Oh, I'm burning down this Black-owned business because guess what? I'm upset because something happened. People are going to see the opportunities in there, right? A wolf is going to dress himself or herself as a sheep, and they're going to be with the flock, and they're going to like, well, every once in a while, whenever I get hungry, I'm just going to take one of the sheep, and I'm just going to say, I don't know what happened, right? He just fell over like that. We are living in a world that we're looking at the aspects of what people are doing and then doing the opposite. So what's right and what's wrong, right? It's a fine line, but we have favoritisms in certain aspects, right? The mainstream media does a good job at this, right? We corral you to the way we want you to think. But the way you should be thinking is independently. What do you want to do in your life? What do you need to do to accomplish your goals? And just looking at culture, the woke culture especially, they are going to just give you a popular trending belief. Just because it's popular and trending, it doesn't mean it's good for your mindset and it doesn't mean it's good for your future. And then we are going to talk about another recent event is going to be another TV program, right? So Grammys were on couple weeks ago, and during that show there was a lot of wokeness going on, right? Not saying that who sponsored the event was the reason for this, but it could have played a role. We have worshiping of deities that typically people don't want to worship. We have taken God from schools, but we have replaced him with the devil on mainstream media, on popular shows. So now people are seeing, well, I guess I can do this. Oh, I can be this person. Oh, this is what's trending. And the same thing is going to happen with the Super Bowl. It's been happening with the Super Bowl for years. It's just woke culture, right? This is what you should believe in. This is what you should be conforming into. The issue with conforming into woke culture is that it's going to lead you to a place that's not going to be beneficial for your future. You might be in a good place mentally because you give yourself a lie, but eventually you're going to find yourself in a hard place. And the way around that is by getting out of that culture and understanding what a true mindset looks like. So the issue with woke culture is not so much that it's woke, not so much as trending, not so much as corralling kids into certain beliefs, or that is corralling cultures to do certain things. And then, of course, they're protected by the mainstream media. It's not so much of all that, even though that is an issue. Woke culture is a problem because there's an individual out there right now who's looking for answers and they don't know how to find them. So they're looking around, and they see what's popular. Oh, this is popular. Oh, this is trending. This is what people are doing. This is what people my age are doing. And guess what they do? They mimic that. So now that they mimic that, they fall into that belief system. But just because they mimicked that belief system and they maybe made it their own, it doesn't mean that they're going to be happy in the end. Most of these people, as you can see from the video, they are going to be obese, overweight. They have anxiety. They have some type of problem, something happening in their life. They're fighting for equality when they already have it. They're fighting for something that they don't need to be fighting for. They're trying to tell people who they are when they can just show up in the world. I mean, I'm not going around telling people, hey, I'm straight and I have a good mindset, you should follow me. No, that's silly. So why are they allowed to do it, or why do they do that, right? And it's because if something is wrong, we need to make it as visible as possible so it can become commonplace. I'm going to say that again because I think people are not going to hear that. Commonplace things are going to happen the more we do it. Okay, so if I make something normal, if I normalize something, for example, pandemic, wearing a mask, you don't see someone wearing a mask now and saying, wait, why are they wearing a mask, right? Think if the pandemic never happened, right? And someone's just wearing a mask here in America. People are going to be like, wait, what's that person doing, right? But since we normalized it, oh, you could wear a mask, right? It's supposed to help. Okay, cool, right? We normalized that. Similar to how we are normalizing putting a pride flag into schools, but taking the American flag out. So it's opinion first, country later, entitlement first, my future after, all right? So they're not worried about what's the cause and effect. They're only worried about right now. I want this, right? We live in a weak society right now. Most of these people growing up, I mean, they're feeble. They just have this mindset that's weak and they're just going to break at any moment. Weak people are dangerous. Weak mindsets are dangerous because eventually they're going to get to a point where they're going to take an action that's not going to be a positive action. How can we stop that? How can we get into a better mindset? How can we help culture go into a different path? It's $1 million question. What I can say is that if you have children, to understand what you teach your child, right? They're going to learn from their environment and their behavior. So that is why our children are so important, because they're going to be the end to all the silliness that's going on. Of course, for my son, I'm going to raise him a certain way. Of course, people are going to think, oh, why are you raising him that way to believe that? He's going to know about all of the stuff that's happening in the world because he needs to be aware of it. For example, if there's a stranger in a van passing out candy, I'm going to say, hey, if there's a stranger passing out candy in a van saying to come inside, probably stay away from that van. Unless it's like a trunk or treat and then I'm right next to you and we're in the school parking lot, right? It's different, right? But if you're just out in public and someone says, hey, I got some candy in the trunk, come on in. No, I have to make them aware of that because there's dangers in the world that you have to make your child aware of. Similar to how you say, well, cross on the sidewalk, but make sure before you cross on the sidewalk, you look both ways. It's common sense. We have lost the ability to be common people. Have common sense. To have at least a inkling of a strong positive mindset. Now it's a weak, feeble mindset that operates on popular cultures and beliefs. So you can have a popular belief, you can have your cake and eat it too, and you can be upset that the cake made you fat. And you can sue the company who made the cake and that it didn't say it's going to make me fat on this cake. This happened and will continue to keep on happening. Entitlement. Woke culture and entitlement go hand in hand. If I'm going to believe something, you have to believe something too. For me, mindset is take it or leave it. I'm not trying to go out and change people. There's 10% of people in the world I know I can't change, right? They're just so stubborn. That's going to happen. There's 75% of people that are going to be malleable, but there's going to be 25% of people that I know can change. And that's why my goal is 2 billion people to change or to have a positive effect in the world. Only 2 billion people. Now, I say by only 2 billion people is just because that's around the maximum that I know I can do. What happens when I do those 2 billion people is that those 2 billion people are going to go out and they're going to be in their culture, they're going to be in their environment, they're going to be in their systems. And from there, they're going to radiate what I teach them, the mindset, things like that. And then, of course, things can start to acclimate, right? Think of your stomach, right? You have a pH level, positive or negative. And if it's one or the other, you either got heartburn or you're just not feeling too good, right? A lot of gas. So you just have to make sure that you are balanced, right? Your levels are balanced. How much wokeness can a person take? I don't know. But what I can tell you is that there is going to be favoritism that we have to look past. For example, all of the things we see on TV right now are going to be structured to what they want us to think. So if you are looking at TV as your sole source for entertainment, sole source for information, start to look in other avenues. And then when you get that information, ask yourself, how is this pertinent to me? I remember when the pandemic had happened and they said to stay inside for like 3 months or something like that. They started off with a week and 2 weeks. And I said, okay, I'll give them a week, right? I understand we're trying to flatten the curve and we're trying to do all this, right? Let's trust the science for a week. Let's see what happens, right? Flatten the curve for the week. No, we didn't, right? It kept going up. Nothing happened. But the amazing thing is all the numbers that were going on were fake. And then it wasn't until people were finally released because they had cabin fever and they're like, I'm not staying inside anymore. That's when the true pandemic started. So there was many aspects that we have to look at when it comes to culture, what we're told to believe, and then what we do believe. We should be challenging things every single day. And I want people to even challenge my mindset or to challenge what I preach, because I'm going to, again, be able to tell you every single type of mindset. I'm going to be able to tell you your mindset, most likely. I'm going to be able to tell you the popular mindset, right? The trending mindset, things like that. And then the mindset that's going to be congruent to your goals. And that's it. The mindset congruent to your goals. What is your goal? What is their goal when it comes to woke culture and showing kids, trans kids, and that they can be trans or that they can be a boy or they could be a girl? They can choose what sex they want to be if they were born a boy or they were born a girl. That doesn't make any sense. When a woman is pregnant, she can get a blood test and they can tell the gender of the baby. That means there's going to be a boy or it's going to be a girl. It's not going to be, oh, well, we don't know what it is. Oh, you get to choose what it is. Do you want to know if it's a boy or girl? That's why gender reveals is either pink for a girl or blue for a boy. It's not purple. All right. I think I just made something up. So this is going to be on, whatever date this episode came out, gender reveals are going to start being purple. I'm looking into the future. All right. That's going to happen. But just because that's going to happen, it doesn't mean it's okay. Now, there's going to be intergender births. It is a thing. 1.7% of babies or pregnancies happen as intergender births or intersex birth or whatever it's called. And only 0.5 of them are able to be clinically proven, meaning by blood and things like that. Like, okay, 2 X chromosomes, an X and a Y, only 0.5%. But 50% of our young kids now are gay. Woke culture, right? That's just how they want to swing. Go for it, right? They're going to see their environment. Oh, see Sam Smith doing his thing, right? He got all these guys and trans guys and people around him. I guess it's okay. Cool. Oh, wait, I can be big and beautiful. Lizzo. Cool. And just recently, now men who are overweight can have body positivity. Talk about that. Woke culture. So now you could be a man and you can be big and beautiful, big and handsome. Oh, burly guy. What traditional woman would want someone like that? Unless they have the same mindset as you. Person who is looking for a family structure, they're going to want a strong masculine man. They're going to want someone who's going to handle their business, who's not weak or who makes excuses or who feels entitled. So if you're one of those people, maybe start to second guess, are you on the right path? Because there's people who are going out saying, I'm a man or I'm a woman or I'm trans or I'm binary or I'm this or I'm that or this is my pronoun. Silliness. Wake up. Woke culture is just sleep culture. And if you think that you're a part of the woke culture and you're doing right and justice and you're making your stand for what's right, eventually there's going to be a point where it's going to be an awakening and you're going to find yourself at the other end. I don't want you to get there. I want you to believe what you want to believe. I want you to support what you want to support. But don't make it so other people have to support what you want to support. I don't care if people don't support mindset and growth and development and personal development and happiness and positivity and a good culture. I already know people are not going to all support that. Look at the divide in the country, 50-50. So I already know I had 50% opposition, right? If you're listening to this and it probably irked you, 50% opposition. And I know from even my side that believes what I'm going to be touting is that we have the potential to change our culture, to change the system. You can believe what you want, but there's going to be consequences for what you believe. Look at Hitler. He believed what he wanted, there was consequences. Woke culture, you can believe what you want, there's going to be consequences. Maybe you're not going to feel it today. Maybe we won't even feel it in this lifetime, but the generations to follow, that is what is going to be most pertinent to us in mindset. I don't want the kids today to have a more difficult time tomorrow, and tomorrow meaning the future. How can we help them be equipped to handle the world that they're going to be living in? There's many different options here. But woke culture is an issue that we have to address, and we do have to bring back systems that are traditional, systems that have been working in the past, that has a track record of creating strong individuals, leader type mindsets. Right now, we have a bunch of followers in the world, and I'm not going to follow anyone who hasn't created their own opinion for themselves. And most of these woke people have not created an opinion for themselves. They have created a belief for themselves, but their opinion was from someone else. I would say only maybe 20% of the people who feel like they're woke have created that opinion for themselves, and then everything else is they just followed someone. Stop being a follower, start being a leader. Woke culture is going to be the crutch of us, and we need to learn how to walk unabated without these crutches. So eventually it's going to be something that's in the past, and they're going to look back saying, well, that was a weird time. It's going to happen. But when will it happen? We just have to create some awareness, I guess, huh? My name is Michael Rearden. I'm a mindset coach. If you have any questions, you can email me coachinginsession@gmail.com, and I will see everyone on the next episode of Coaching in Session. Until then, everyone, take care.